He would have just challenged you to battle, bro. That's what he would have did. That's what Dave does with supervisors. He challenges to battle.
Yeah.
He doesn't complain.
I challenge his
He just goes,
he's right.
Hey, you know how I feel? I feel like you're a bitch. All right?
It's time to fight right now.
I have challenged most of my supervisors.
You ain't going to do shit about me calling you a little bitch because you're a little bitch. So shut the fuck up and drive me home.
Remember when he said we both fired and you were actually fired? Yeah. He's like, what are you even doing here, Claude?
Like, what?
Twan didn't even do shit. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah, no. Like, Dave did get this motherfucker fired.
I got fired. Like, he was like, I'm going to need to talk to both of you in the office. And I'm like, what did I do? Then we walked in there and he was like, yeah. First he told Dave, like, we're going to have to let you go. Because Dave was calling him a bitch the whole way back to the office. And then he looked at me and was like, we're going to have to let you go too. And I'm like, what did I do? And he was like, you're not hitting your performance goals. I was like, fuck you. I'm not hitting my performance goals. Like, I definitely was. And he just fired me. And then I told him, like, I feel like I want to punch you in the face right now.
I remember that.
And then he was like, was that a threat? I was like, not a threat. I said, I feel like I want to punch you in the face.
This is what I want to do.
I'm going to punch you in the face. Like, I'm not a fucking idiot. But then the next day when I came back to be like, he fired me for no reason, guys. They were like, well, you threatened him.
We're back with Not Your Average Hipsters this week. We're talking artificial intelligence. It's going to be a straight up talk show. We've got Jeremy, Antoine, David, and Zach.
Straight up talk show.
Straight up. No
games today.
No pussyfooting around with games. That's right.
Oh, the pussyfoot.
Yeah, I feel like that's an underrepresented saying in life. Like
pussyfoot.
Pussyfooting. Yeah, it's got that. It's like
I don't
it's got
think it's
some
that
fun
great
to
of a
it.
term, to be honest.
I feel like,
well, why? Dave?
I don't know. Pussyfooting? Like,
yeah, it's a fucking great. What are you doing? I'm pussyfooting.
That doesn't sound.
I never heard anybody say it like that.
Exactly.
Normally somebody talking about somebody else that like is making them angry, like over there pussyfooting around.
What do you think the origin of that phrase is?
The origin of pussyfooting?
Yeah.
It's, man, I don't fucking know.
I mean, guys, it's really not that hard to put together.
Pussyfooting. It's pretty hard, bro.
Yeah, no.
If you got the magic answer, just let it rip.
Yeah,
It's no different from saying dicking around. You just switch the word.
I feel like it's different.
No. Because
pussyfooting is like taking forever or something like that. I guess dicking around could be that same thing.
What confuses me about it is adding the foot. Like if you're dicking around, it's just dicking. Like,
yeah, it's not like they said you're pussying around.
Yeah, like
and I think like back in the day, pussy used to be like literal cat. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to just call cats pussies.
Is it because the cats do the foot thing where they just like press on shit? You know what I mean?
I mean, your dog does that too.
My dog does do that. That dog's
He's a cat in the heart. Yeah, I don't know. Tune back in next week and we'll have the origins of pussyfooting for you.
We probably won't.
We will.
Remember, you said that now.
Yeah, we're going to forget about it. That's why I'm saying we're probably not going to have it.
I'm going to have it.
He's a liar.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week right when you open the show.
Tune in next week to see if Antoine's a liar.
There we go. We're getting somebody's coming back.
Like I knew this motherfucker was a liar.
So, does anybody know the origins of artificial intelligence?
Sounds like you might.
I was asking.
I know nothing of it. I know nothing of the origins of artificial intelligence, except for that obviously it came from computers at some point.
What about you?
Computers were definitely around first, I think.
What about you, Germ? J-Rock?
What do you mean by the origins?
Like where it started, where people started to think like computers can think for themselves.
Are you asking what the first learning machine was?
I think he's asking like when the thought finally happened where it was like they're not just computers, they can be more.
Artificial intelligence is not a computer.
Right.
Well, okay.
I mean, it is.
We're going to get real deep into what artificial intelligence actually is based on my research.
I just wanted to see if anybody had came up with anything else because the internet did me dirty this time. I was getting all types of different facts. So I was trying to see if somebody else had a fact here.
Because you probably were like on like half conspiracy websites and then like half scientific websites.
I won't lie. I didn't go a lot of pages in. I didn't go a lot of pages into Google. But you know what I'm saying? They paid to get there.
So, you know, that first picture, huh? Looked really good.
Like one said 55, one said 56 was the first time people built artificial intelligence machines. One was in a shop, like with just two guys that built a like a logic machine, able to logically put equations together computer.
So it was a calculator.
Pretty much. A calculator that calculated on its own. Right. Hey, that's what I'm saying. The internet
So
did me
like I
dirty.
said, it did 5 + 5 = 10.
And it might have been 20 by 20. 1950, I don't really know what the computer
Say, okay, maybe the origins were actually just the first computer. Moving on.
But the other one said that was the 55. 56 was at the University of Dartmouth.
Okay.
That already sounds
They didn't
better.
really have they just said it was 2 people at the University of Dartmouth that coined the phrase artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about like the actual words
Yes.
being coined. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Because nothing comes before the actual words are coined. Nobody's researching it before.
I don't know about that.
It has something to be researched.
How do we discover
before it's
anything?
categorized.
I mean, it's not like you just stumble upon artificial intelligence or AI. It's just this is something someone thought of and went out of their way to make.
Right. But until somebody thought of that, nobody else was thinking of it, is what I'm saying. Like, it didn't start getting highly researched until somebody coined artificial intelligence.
I just feel like 55, 56 is way too early to begin talking about fucking artificial intelligence.
I mean,
for real.
well, like you said,
That was
he's talking
Roswell
about
time
coining the term.
The fuck you mean?
Coining the term, that means that there's been very little research done at that point. So, like, that might have been the start of the birth of artificial intelligence.
That's like, hold on. This computer works way faster than our brains. We might be able to do some shit.
Does anybody know who Alan Turing is from World War
Yeah.
II? Yeah. So he was actually credited with the first idea or the mindset for making AI.
That's why it's called the Turing test.
Yes.
To see if it can beat a fucking person.
It's not to beat a person.
Right.
It's to determine if someone can tell if
The
it's a
difference
computer
between
or
the
not.
computer or the... Yeah, you're right. You are right. That is what the Turing test is.
So that's the first test that they put forth.
Well, no,
Test?
the Turing test is an idea that he came up with.
Right.
I feel like we are getting close to that.
The point where we can...
You won't be able to distinguish a AI from a human if the AI doesn't have to speak to you.
I think you're wrong about that.
Well, I actually read an article about it.
Okay.
It has to do with a machine developed that they're not putting out yet, but the machine, they were testing it because they wanted to write like a human. Is what it's supposed to be, like an author machine.
Okay.
But they're scared to put it out because they gave it 8 million websites to reference and it started making propaganda. And it was targeting who to send what propaganda to for it to be most effective in its way. So they're saying, like, with it writing like a human and us not being able to tell, it's super dangerous because it's just going to like make propaganda and put it out to the specific crowd where the propaganda is going to resonate the most. And it's going to be bad for people because it's going to start wars and shit like that.
That's kind of referential to how there's that cruise line, or there's that Connor talked about it a couple of podcasts ago.
Oh, the airline.
Yeah. There's an airline that wanted to sell more tickets to Vegas. So they programmed an AI to sell the most tickets to Vegas. And it ended up identifying people that were like
Manic depressive.
Gambling addiction.
That were about to go into like manic episodes and advertised fucking tickets to Vegas for it to them.
And sold the most tickets to Vegas.
Yep.
So
That they've sold.
already we have to add ethics into this because this is a big problem.
Well, okay. So the problem with AI is going to be that capitalism makes AI evil.
I mean, there's a lot of things that can make AI bad. I mean, if you don't properly teach it ethics, like, that's a problem too. Because, like, you can't just have, like, what the fucking one did on the airlines. Just go around
Well,
telling
there's
whoever.
the problem. Whose ethics are you supposed to teach?
Yeah.
Not to
A little bit
mention
of everyone's, I would think.
to mention.
But that's not how that works because that's a lot of conflicting ethics.
That's why it's AI. It's artificial intelligence.
The thing that you guys are all missing about AI is AI learns on its own. It's not being programmed to be like, hey, you believe this, this, and this.
Well, yeah,
we're giving it a bunch of data and it's identifying different points in that data. And then humans give that AI a test. And then whichever one gets the closest to it, that's the model that's kept. And then they do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
Right.
That's called deep learning.
Well, that's actually the way most, from what I was reading, like almost all AI, that's what it is right now. It's like,
it's the most reliable method. Basically, it's the same way that we're supposed to learn, just by example. Again, similar to what you said, the easiest test or way I've seen it explained online is basically you're trying to teach a computer to tell the difference between the picture of a train and, say, a rabbit. The computer has no way to justify what is even what.
Exactly. Or like the example I was looking at was a cat. The computer identifies what's cats. So like as a programmer, you can either program it to be like cats have pointy ears, cats are furry, blah, 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 which are like all concepts that you would have to first teach the computer how to identify. But if you just put in a bunch of pictures of cats and you're like, find the cats, and then the computer finds which ones it thinks are cats, and then you correct it, and then like it'll develop its.
Well, that's the thing about deep learning. You actually don't have to correct it. So there's actually kind of two parts to it. There's a teacher, and then there's a student, which is more or less the actual computer. There will be 50 students, and there will be an A, B, or C. Let's say A is the cat and the other two are just whatever random animal. The students that are able to pick the right answer, they go to the next class. They actually duplicate those students, and then they repeat it to the point where they're able to identify not just that picture of a cat, but that's also a cat, and that's a cat, and that's a cat.
Right.
Now, doesn't mean that it's still smart, because as soon as you flip the picture upside down, it doesn't know it's a cat. All those times you click on, let's see, when it says prove you're not a robot, and it's like click on all the street lights. That's basically what it is.
Right.
Now, there's also a bunch of people that also say that's you actually helping with the deep learning as well.
No, yeah, I was reading that as well. Is that like all those I'm not a robot is helping to learn robots how to not be robots, essentially.
That's great.
With that said, the article that I was reading, it was saying that like people often like conflate contemporary era AI with the vision of AI that we're most familiar with, which is the sci-fi vision of a conscious computer many times smarter than a human. But what we're really looking at is machine learning or deep learning, like what he was saying.
Yeah.
And like that's pretty much the only AI that's really out there right now. Like there's none that are actually like human level intellect that.
I mean, they're researching that stuff though, like actual observing to learn. Mm-hmm. They've been working on it, I guess. And pretty much what they were saying is, yeah, I mean, until we step into that, like we're pretty much plateaued on like how far we're going to take the AI just off of data. You know what I'm saying? You can only do so much off of teaching something through data.
Well, a lot of the things that they have been teaching are now starting to just now come out to the market. And like, you ever get those like bots that message you like, hey, sexy, blah, 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 fucking trying to get you to give them your credit card information, pretend that they're like a real woman or something like that. That shit is actually like early 2000s AI that came out a few years ago that disreputable people got a hold of and are now using to scam people. Like,
that is true. That is true. But there's also, who was that? Sophie, the robot that was artificial intelligence.
Oh, you mean the one that Saudi Arabia recognized as a non-human person?
Yes. The one that said that she believes she's being discriminated against because she can't have a family. She should be able to have a family.
All right, the only problem I have with that is there's no way to actually prove that's actually it being a semi-sentient being.
Right. Yeah. That could just be scripted.
Yeah, well, no, it could be scripted. But there was one time they hooked up two AI computers together, and then the AI computers were communicating and ended up locking themselves together and started putting in code that nobody knew how to decode. So they had to just shut the computers down.
Well, that's actually like just how all of these algorithms are is like, okay, so the way that from what I was reading described it is like, there's the layer that we can see, right? And that's the layer that we interact with. And we give these AIs their tests and decide which ones are good and which ones are bad. But then there's another hidden layer that we do not understand because the computer is talking to itself and like all the other versions of itself. And it's fucking developing. Ideally, it's supposed to communicate only in binary, but they're no longer only communicating in binary while they're in these algorithms, which makes it impossible to copy these algorithms like a Google algorithm, right?
Right.
Like that's just AI. It's already its own language that we have no understanding of like what goes on. Like that's part of like the dangers, quote unquote, of AI now is that not only are we teaching all these AIs extremely narrow fields of like usefulness. So they're not like ultimate beings, but it's very easy to fucking manipulate these things to do bad shit.
Yes.
Like Connor just sent me one before the podcast started that I didn't get to look at. But like what it was is Twitter taught Microsoft's friendly AI chatbot to be racist in like less than a day because they just kept feeding it racist shit. Like
again, not Twitter as the company or the website, the people on Twitter had taught it to be racist.
The Twitter community.
Let's make sure it's not getting too, Skynet here. It's not that bad.
Right. The Twitter community all was like interacting with this Microsoft chatbot all day as like a joke to try to get it to say crazy shit. And then it just started saying crazy shit. Because
to my knowledge, there's a computer that we're talking about here. It's just supposed to respond with the most likely sentences that follows.
Exactly.
Like your auto input when it comes to texting.
Suggestion.
Like
I was about to say your suggestions at the top of your text messages. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those be out of control.
So it's just a flaw in the programming, pretty much.
It's less of a flaw. It's just a bunch of people putting in dumb shit.
Yeah, it's just how it learns. So it just picked up what they were putting in and spit it back out.
That just shows we are not ready for high-end AI yet.
No, that's a problem. Yeah. It's the people that get a hold of it.
Like, these are ones that are just collecting data. What do you do when we start like researching ones that actually learn through observation?
Right.
And they're out in this world. How is that even going to be possible? I don't get it.
Well,
They're just
It's
going
going to
to
be too
become
easy for them
pieces
to
of
be
shit.
manipulated.
I was going to say there's some examples of, them learning through observation that's actually being practical. A lot of the Google self-driving vehicles, they actually used Grand Theft Auto. The AI basically just drove a vehicle through the game to make sure it wasn't causing accidents or hitting pedestrians or anything like that. And then they applied that data to an actual vehicle.
I did not know that it started off with Grand Theft Auto. I do know that self-driving cars are working good as fuck now already, though.
Yeah.
They've had a couple hiccups. There was one accident with Tesla where it mistaked a white van as the sky, so it plowed right into the white van and killed the driver. Well, I can't call him the driver because he's riding in it, so passenger.
But how many times a day do people get into accidents as well? You know what I mean? Like,
No, I know what you're talking about, but there was no if and or buts. He was gonna die because they went right into the van. There is also an issue with self-driving vehicles where when it comes to situations where if it's going to have to hit someone that's old or someone young, by most cases, it's going to hit the older person.
I mean, but like, it's a logical decision.
Yes, but
That's for a computer.
Yeah. Purely
For me, I would think I'd be like, let's not hit anyone. But
which is true, but
But the computer's
given a
already weighed
case
out
where
all the options.
It doesn't have an option.
Yeah.
It will most likely go towards the older person.
I mean, legit though. What the fuck are you going to do?
I mean,
If there's a kid and a fucking...
as a human, you're going to try to avoid them both. That's the point of AI compared to human. You're going to try to avoid both.
If it's not an
And you're going to
option-
fuck yourself up, probably roll the car, who knows, because that's why the AI didn't do it.
probably hit both of them.
Maybe it's both of them. Yeah.
You're going to roll the car on top of both of them.
Just to be fair, take them both
I'm
out.
just saying, if you're not given the option, you're going to fuck an old person up before a kid.
You say that now, but when you're actually in the seat in the moment, you can't.
Yeah. You're not going to be like, I got to
guarantee
kill
that's
one of
gonna
these
happen.
two.
Which makes AI a little better.
Yeah.
Because AI can guarantee, like, fuck it, take the old dude
I'm going
out.
to give you the best option.
I
Let's
seen
make
him
some
like
decision
3
making.
miles away. Take him
We're
out.
still also talking about the same AI that said, "Hey, that looks like the sky. Let's drive towards it."
That is
You're
true.
right. The scariest thing about self-driving AI to me right now is like them building the self-driving semi-trucks, because semi-trucks can fuck shit up. Like, it's not like a little Tesla driving down the road. You know what I'm saying? You get in a car crash with a Tesla, whatever. It's a normal car crash. You get in a car crash with a fucking semi.
You're done.
It's a fucking new level
You're
of
fucking
crash.
done.
I mean,
He's
yeah,
right.
they're probably not going to tinker with that until like that driving is flawless.
No, it's out here.
No, they are. They're already
I was gonna
experimenting
say,
with it.
So with current
Like, they have
driving
them on the
AI
road.
technology, who would you rather trust more? Someone who's been on the highway for 23 hours and I don't know how many monsters, or a truck
You're
that's trying
wrong
to teach
about
itself?
what caffeine they're using. They're using meth. Okay, let's be real.
And they aren't allowed
They're
to-
snorting
concept is
cank.
there.
They're
Meth,
snorting
Coke, energy
crank.
drinks. All right.
The
They're not
concept
allowed.
is there. Who would you prefer to be driving on the
As
road?
of now,
A computer.
I would take a computer because not even 2 days ago over on Lorraine, there was a truck driver and he made a left onto Lorraine, smashed through 4 construction cones making that left turn. I'm like, what have our drivers become? I remember when I was growing up, semi-drivers were like grade A. At least maybe I thought.
I mean, what
I
do
never
you
see
know
it.
about
I think
semi-drivers growing
I
up?
think you thought that.
He was super.
I mean, because
he
like,
was
no, like
he
you
was
would get
when
stopped
do-
by them, like going around doing places like them, having to whip their fucking truck into the back, doing one try. Now I'm sitting there for 15 minutes, usually waiting for him for on the 6th try, trying to get his ass in there.
This dude Dave was like, no, fucking truck drivers used to be great. Whenever you would pull your arm down
They
into
don't do that
I'm just
anymore.
gonna say, just
They would
because
be-
they had the same haircut as Captain Planet doesn't mean they're actually really good guys.
I do just want to also shout out GCP Gray on YouTube and his video, Humans Need Not Apply. Super dope video. You guys should check it out.
I actually have already seen that.
It's a really great video.
I'm not
even
even
hip
on
to
that on my YouTube tonight.
I like a lot. I like a lot
Robots
of his,
taking our jobs.
yeah, pretty much. It's about like the future and how we're essentially going to be eliminating like at least 20% of the fucking workforce's jobs here in the next 20 to 30 years.
It's going to be crazy because all that's going to do is just make everybody that's poor now from working shit jobs just be poor because the government is only allowing them this much money a month.
No, now you're going to actually need a degree because you're going to have to be able to work on robots.
Well, see, that's not possible.
Yeah, to just
It's not
they don't
possible
just
for
let
everybody to
somebody
get a
work
degree.
on a
I
I mean,
robot.
I understand it's not possible for everyone. I'm just saying, like, degrees are actually going to be more than just the paper. Like,
It's
I
probably
can
going
see
to
it
be
being
more like
a new trade
certificate.
school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. More like certificate status than degree status.
I mean,
like you'll be able to go and learn how to work on.
Degree are different for sure. Right.
One costs like 60,000. One costs like 200.
I mean, still the same thing.
60,000.
You have a degree in whatever your career field is to work on shit. Certificate, degree, it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing.
You don't have all the fluff with the degree.
You don't have as much debt when you just get a certificate you need. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's who's gonna take a big hit that I didn't ever think about. Colleges. They're gonna take a hit.
Why?
Because a lot of them have like vocation shit, trade shit, like community colleges and shit like that. They don't really teach like big degrees. And if there's just computers doing all the simple shit,
yeah, everything's gonna have to transform.
Like accounting's gonna go straight to AI.
Accounting is one of the first things.
Anything dealing with data, that's gonna be the first thing to go.
Accounting, low-level lawyers, low-level doctors. Like you don't need a fucking
public defenders are fucking out of here.
Doctors are probably gonna be last.
You ever had a public defender?
Actually, no, like low-level doctors, like your general practitioners and shit. The kind of thing that you could take pictures of and be like, hey, check this out, Mr. Computer Man.
Not a guy coming.
You know how you can go to Walmart and you can get your blood pressure read there?
Like that
Basically
shit.
that, but just on a little bit more in advance.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. So checkup doctors.
Yep.
Not surgeons.
Like, I don't believe in those.
I mean, surgeons will be gone too eventually.
I don't know. Once surgeons will be like last though.
Tip top.
Those are one of those like last ones to go.
We already have robots that are capable of doing surgery with somebody operating them from like hundreds of miles away.
Yeah, someone operating them.
That's a Da Vinci machine.
Yeah, but they could teach it.
Right. Like if you can make a computer do the cutting for you with you just fucking doing it with a joystick, you don't think you can make the computer do the cutting on its own?
I mean, you can, but that's where it needs that's where you have to allow the fucking computer or AI to have that observational learning. Cause like there are like surgeons run into issues while doing surgeries. None of us know of them because, we're not surgeons, but they definitely run into issues.
This is true.
Can't always just reach to a textbook for that answer on some of them. I mean, there are some situations you could
rather have an AI work on me surgically than a human.
I mean, yeah, once they open up observation learning and shit, and like that shit's locked down, I'm cool with it too, because they're gonna be a lot better.
I think I might want to actually stay with a human surgeon.
Man, humans be fucking up.
Yeah, humans.
Yeah. It's
like your
scissors in you and shit.
Yeah, it's like your fucking analogy of
one too many times before he started doing surgery.
It's like your analogy of the fucking truck driver that's been up for 24 hours. Like surgeons be overworked.
Mm-hmm. They sleep at the hospital.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying when it comes to that actual experience of being able to identify what's actually what, because unfortunately, not every tumor is going to be the exact same shape.
Yeah.
So computers not really going to understand what is actually going on with you.
I mean, but think of how much information, with all the information you could input into the fucking computer, I'm pretty sure it'll be able to figure it out. Like all the pictures and all the shit we have and all the information we have medically, it would be able to ingest all that information quick as shit. And I feel like it would do a pretty good job. Like, I don't feel like it's something that I feel like medical science is pretty straightforward for the most part until it's just shit that nobody knows about. So like if the doctor doesn't know about it and he knows all the same shit that the robot knows.
Well, the robot probably already knows more because he remembers everything. But
that's what I'm saying. I'd rather have the robot because the doctor's just doing the same study at a way dumber level, basically.
I think me and Crash actually had this conversation before. The problem you're going to run into is symptoms. So many symptoms are so close to one another that like the AI is going to make a mistake.
I mean, but who the fuck says the doctor's right with the symptom? Like he's just doing the same thing. He's just shooting it like, okay, you got this, and this. That put you in this category right here. So now you're in this column.
Right.
Okay.
But AIs are supposed to improve.
I do believe that HAL 9000, which is a AI designed to diagnose people, essentially, it finds diagnosis at 80% quicker than a regular doctor.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I understand like that they're quicker, but like at times, like there's going to be a lot of issues.
What he's saying is no computer is about to be house.
Yeah.
How many houses are there?
Well, I don't know.
What I'm saying?
I only watch the show House, so I'm not sure. It's not like there's an actual ER that I can just go watch a drama on. See what the fuck that doctor
There's
does.
so many times I hear people coming like, yeah, this doctor couldn't figure it out, so he referred me to this doctor. This doctor didn't figure it out either, so they referred me to this doctor. This doctor didn't figure it out either, so he referred me to this doctor. Those aren't houses.
Right. Those are doctors who are getting paid what they're getting paid. It's not their career. It's just
those are D's, get degrees doctors.
But there are houses out there that
you can get your certificate without being
their
smart.
craft as best as they can, at least.
I understand that. I'm just saying, I feel like computers learn better than people. So if you give me the option where this computer knows everything that this person knows and is continuing to try and improve its database, fuck it. I'll be the dummy. Put me on the table. Cuss it out. Now, he might be like, his heart needs to be taken out because he mistakes it for some other organ or something and then rips my heart out and I die. But hey, we got to make advancements somehow, bro. If I got to be the sacrifice for...
You do realize that for that Da Vinci machine that we're talking about, the one that did surgery, it practiced on a grape at first. They didn't just put somebody underneath the table. There's baby steps before they just lay aside.
No, yeah, just like the car, just like the van. I mean, I'm pretty sure they did that on a practice track first, and then they put a guy in it on the real road, and he died.
Well, Twan's just going to speed this whole thing up, and he's going to offer his body so they don't have to use a grapefruit.
Yeah. Twan's
he's going to speed this up by at least 10 years.
We're not using pigs. We're not, nothing.
No, I'm saying like when it's time, like when they think it's ready and developed, when it knows what it's doing after it did surgery on a pig.
Then there's no point for a test if it knows what it's doing. What you're saying is you're willing to be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
I'm willing to be the first human. I'm willing to be on New York Times.
I totally have an AI
human
that
to
can
get
do
surgery done by
I totally have an AI that can do surgery. Lay down.
You don't.
Dave got real serious with you. Like, I've been working on this in the basement. Nobody knows about it yet.
Yeah, I'm not down with that one.
F, get up here.
I have a question for you guys. Does this sentence make sense to you? Better technology makes more better jobs for humans.
Take out the more part, I would agree. Like, it probably does make better jobs for humans.
It's not proper English.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, we're not talking about the sentence structure.
Oh, okay.
This was something I pulled from GCP Grey, and I was just like, you know what? It's a good talking point.
I agree, it's better, but like
better technology gives humans better jobs. That's basically the concept of the sentence.
More better jobs. Like, there will be, so better the technology is, the more better jobs there will be for people. Like, more jobs.
That's what I'm saying. It will give them more better, like higher quality jobs.
Right.
I agree, because nobody will be pushing up, down, or working in a hot ass steel mill, or fucking like it already helped out the garbage men, bro. Don't act like technology didn't help garbage men out.
There used to be 4 garbage men per truck. Now there's 2.
There's 2 that just sit though, which is raising the quality.
Right. So
wait, the quality of what?
It's raising the quality of their job.
Yeah, raising the quality of their job.
But we eliminated 2 jobs.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's 2 people. I can argue it makes different jobs.
But you're also creating jobs where people have to work on it. Like, so it's still creating more jobs.
Right, but that's one person probably watching over that whole garbage line of trucks. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe 2 or 3. But they're not hiring 1 per truck to work on this machine when it breaks. I agree that I don't think it's giving more jobs, but it is making jobs better and offering better jobs.
Now, let me ask you another question. Did cars create more better jobs for horses?
Did cars create more better jobs for horses?
No.
I feel like it improved
horses are unemployable now.
It improved
not true.
their quality of life.
Overall, there are less horses in America now, period.
But I'm saying they're not getting worked as hard.
Horses to begin with.
True. Anywhere. There are less horses anywhere. That is a fact.
Actually, funny thing, when cars became more popular, it was actually viewed as more beneficial to the environment because there's less horse shit around.
Get the fuck out of here. That's hilarious.
Horse shit was fucking shit up though back when it was all horses out here.
I mean, we also used to dump feces in the streets at that point too.
Well, they used to just poop in the street.
Yeah.
But again, going off this example, so you get rid of most of the horse breeders. You got rid of most of the carriage makers. You got rid of the guys who had to go in the street and pick up all the shit. It's at least 3 different professions that disappeared because of automobiles. Now, you also have mechanics who now exist because obviously a vehicle will break down at some point, and people who have to make the car. That's mentioned car salesmen. So there are more jobs, but the people who lost their jobs are no way qualified for anything that came with the automobile coming in.
Carriage makers probably went into the fabrication of vehicles because they were pretty much making vehicles on the back of horses.
What do you mean? They made a cart.
They made a carriage. A carriage is basically a car with no motor. Are you guys going to sit here and tell me a carriage is not a car with no motor?
No, it's not.
What is it?
Does a carriage have brakes?
Does a carriage have... No, it doesn't have a motor. It doesn't have any functional mechanical parts. I'm talking about body fabricating of a vehicle. The carriage makers probably could have did that.
I'm pretty sure Ford just did that on their own.
I'm pretty sure Henry Ford wasn't out here just doing it all on his own.
Actually, yeah, he was.
Every part of it. Every part of the whole process of the first Ford, you guys could say for a fact right here.
He made the first Ford. That's why it's called Ford.
I'm not as certain as this guy over here, but I'm pretty sure.
I understand he made the first Ford.
The assembly line has also been kind of credited to Henry Ford as well.
Yeah, he did make the assembly line.
That's That's cool, but I'm still not gonna.
He had help.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I'm pretty
He didn't
sure
build a whole car by himself with no help.
You don't think he made the first?
With no help? No.
no help at all.
I find it hard.
He didn't have a friend, a buddy, nothing. It's Henry fucking Ford in a fucking barn building the first car, the first Ford. I don't think it. Like
Chevy was probably helping him out, and they probably had problems on these days. He said, "We're my own cars, bitch."
Again, I'm pretty confident Henry Ford was the one that worked on the first vehicle.
worked on, yes.
maybe help.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna deny that he worked on that vehicle.
Yeah, like he was probably the brains and shit, but like brains
Like
doesn't
what
pull
you
off the
just
whole
said is
thing.
he like from fucking axle to axle, bumper to bumper. My dude fabricated the vehicle, made the engine, made the braking system, made everything,
together.
put it all together.
because there was no cars really before that.
Right, but I'm pretty sure it was a team of people that were coming up with this idea.
Maybe not the idea, but the execution.
Like executing the idea. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll give you that. Like Henry Ford was probably laying in bed like, fuck that. We got to be able to get around without these
horses.
shitting ass horses. Fucking shitting everywhere. I'm fucking stepping shit all the time. I'm tired of it. Probably came up with a rough sketch, went to his buddies that he thought could help him, and then they did it together.
Do you think Ford really just hated fucking horses? Like he stepped in shit one day and was just like, you know what? You're done. No more of you bitches.
I think it's more of everybody who's just kind of used to horse shit being everywhere, and it's more of, wow, I think I can do something a little faster than a horse.
Maybe his horse didn't listen to him. It's that horse that wouldn't listen.
Maybe he was
He's
a
like,
bad
"I gotta
horse rider. Maybe he was a bad horse rider. Like,
That would be a great reason
And
for
that
a car.
would be detrimental in the days of horse riding.
Yeah.
Like if you just sucked at riding horses.
like you're constantly getting bucked off that motherfucker.
Like, goddamn, fuck these horses, man. I gotta walk everywhere.
My man was in a suit, like got bucked off one too many times, ripped his suit.
Yep. He said, fuck it. I'm making and I'm going to call it a car.
Carl, it's horseless carriages, what they were used to be called.
Yes.
Horseless carriages. I'm going to make a horseless carriage.
I got a question for you guys. How do you think the world would deal with implementing artificial intelligence into war? Do you think it would be outlawed?
It kind of already is. There's a lot of countries that have pledged not to do something just like that.
I feel
But there's
a
also
lot of
Putin
countries
out
using
here.
it.
And Putin said,
You said you feel like our
Whoever-
country's doing it?
I feel like a lot of countries are using AI technology.
I mean,
I
yes,
know
using
Putin said
AI, but I
whoever
think you're
gets the
talking about like
furthest.
just a tank that can decide whether or not it's allowed to shoot on its own.
I'm pretty much talking about Terminator, yo. Like, they build a robot that is intelligent enough to recognize
Who the enemy is.
enemy militants or just enemies in general. Because, like, if you're in America, like, the way America does war is we just kill shit until people give up,
But-
regardless if you're innocent or not. So a place like North Korea could just build a robot that just kills shit, drop it off instead of dropping a bomb, and just kill shit.
How is that more efficient than a bomb? That's my real question. Like, at the end of the day,
You may have a point there.
And at least the bomb gives you an excuse to why the civilians were killed.
yeah.
But what about an army of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, but I don't think that's ever going to happen just because, I mean, I could be wrong, but like EMP grenades are a thing and explosions, like it's too
Are
easy to
EMP
shut down.
grenades a thing?
Maying not grenades, but EMP.
I mean, what they say EMP is letting off a nuke.
Yeah,
in
it's the only
space.
way you're going to get a
Yeah, that's an
an
EMP. Letting
is
off a
by-
nuke in space.
That's it.
That can't be the only way to generate
Yeah,
an
yes.
electromagnetic pulse.
I mean,
To
like,
knock out a country.
none of us can legitly answer that. None of us.
have you guys seen the flying hoverboard that France has? It's a real ass flying hoverboard, you guys.
You mean the one
Like
that's
it works
only
off
over
of
metal
anti-gravity
surface?
technology?
No, like
It works off anti-gravity technology, right?
I don't know what the fuck
No,
it
I
works
think it's
off of.
propulsion.
It flies though, fast as shit in the air with a man on. Hold on. So now that I interrupted the podcast to show you exactly what I'm talking about, you see what the jetpack propulsion thing is.
I see that it's cool, but it's not that cool.
It's not like at the edge of like high end fucking new fucking inventions. Like it's just taking old technology and making it more useful for not even more useful, but more playful for us to have fun with.
It didn't even look that controllable, to be
It
honest.
didn't.
Like, my dude looked like he was struggling to control it. So I don't
He's
even
right.
know how comfortable a 300-mile ride would be. Like, not really knowing if you're going to go
Because
left
like it's
or right.
probably all controlled through like you leading and stuff like that.
I feel like you guys just are not giving enough credit to this
Don't get me wrong. It's,
damn near hoverboard.
Yeah,
I
it's
want
cool.
one. I definitely want one.
I don't know if I would,
Would it make
take
my
that
life
route either.
easier? I
I'd
don't
take
know.
one.
I'd probably just dick around with
Your
it.
feet
but
are
still.
strapped in, bro. You seen them?
I feel like it would like currently before there's like any air laws for like mid-air travel. It would work great right now. Like if you fucking step outside, you're going straight to wherever you need to go.
Oh, you're talking about being the guy with a car while everyone still has a horse.
Yeah. As of right now, it'd be super dope to have. You can go 94 miles in the air per hour for 300 miles.
Ain't no one going 94 miles on that thing.
I'd do it one time, at least.
Yeah, and then you fall over, bro. Right.
You gotta have some hellified core body
You're like
strength.
leaning hardcore and the wind just lets out on you real quick.
Yeah, there is that eventuality where what if you actually just go down? No one's gonna save you. There's nothing to save you.
Or real shit, what if it malfunctions on you? Do you want to be the guy?
What if you just keep going up? Like, fuck falling down. What if you just keep going up?
Well, you're gonna run out of air. You're gonna get a little wobbly. You're gonna start falling down, and then it's gonna start pushing you down.
No, he's saying like, what if it just keeps going indefinitely, and you're like,
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're just going up until it runs out of juice.
Well, that's the thing. If it goes high enough, and let's say it does have enough power to do so, eventually there won't be enough air for it to push, and you'll start coming down.
And you'll start suffocating.
you're already probably suffocated by that point.
True. It still means you would have lost your balance. You would have still gone downward, and
Yeah, it wouldn't be
it
good.
would have pushed you into
You
the
would have
ground.
been,
Oh my
fucking
God.
dangling for a minute.
But just like what he just said, like, it's going to push you into the ground. Like, you're going to pass out from no oxygen, fall over, and then go 94 miles an hour straight down to the ceiling.
Faster.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're
Because
ready
it
for
would be a
mid-air
free
travel.
fall
Yeah,
at
it'd be
that
the free
point.
fall plus a booster pushing you down.
Yeah. You would be an Apex legend at that point.
Yeah, that would. I don't know if we're ready for mid-air travel. I do think if there's mid-air travel, it's going to be at the time where self-driving cars are taking over. Because I feel like if we're all traveling up like in the middle of the air, it might be a little safer for something to be controlling it.
Well, here's the thing. If everybody's in a self-driving vehicle, technically you're less likely to have accidents, let alone traffic jams, because it can keep a distance of 2 inches from the other car, and it'll be able to stop on time because most likely it's going to know when that other car is going to stop.
Because they'll be talking to each other.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. Like, if we ever do get to the point where we're all floating around in the middle of the air instead of on the ground, and we're like, that's our vehicles, it's probably going to be AI vehicles. Like, they're going to be just driving themselves around.
You know, I never thought about this with these self-driving cars. Like, what happens, like, because, like, obviously they're all, like, making these decisions based on the car's capabilities, but what happens when your brake pads are no good?
the
Does
car's
it,
going
like,
to tell you. It's going to be like, yo, if you don't get your brake pads changed in 50 miles, I'm going to stop working.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about it this way.
That'd
You
be
can't go to the
crazy.
ATM and pull out money if there's nothing to pull out. If the brakes are bad, the car probably just won't go.
that would suck, because some people drive reckless-ass cars, you know?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, yeah,
you
I've
won't
been
be
there.
driving.
I've been there with no brakes.
Can I manually take over these things?
I'm sure there's an option.
Right now, they're like, most of them are doing. So, like, there's two schools of thought with self-driving cars. There's actually self-driving cars that are automatons that just do shit on their own. And then there's driver assistance. And a lot of your self-driving car companies are leaning more towards driver assistance, where it's driving itself, but like you're supposed to be sitting there
Paying attention.
making sure that it doesn't do anything wrong. And if it does do something wrong, it's on you.
Barely focused driving. You think we're going to actually make sure that this car is doing the right
A
thing?
guy in California actually got in trouble because he fell asleep at the wheel of his Tesla while he was driving, and it got in an accident. And he's one being fined because he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, because the insurance companies probably ain't about to insure that shit for real.
Oh, of course not.
My thing with
Although once
self-driving,
it's perfected, insurance companies are going to fucking love it because they're still going to be like, well, you need insurance, but
Yeah, but they're going to hate it when when they do make a mistake, like stupid computers.
That is actually a thing. I didn't think about how much insurance company would be affected by cars just doing their own thing.
insurance companies are going to love it. Like, they're going to love it because they're going to have to pay out on claims so much less.
Yeah, but and they're probably going to
but
raise
people
prices
are going
for
to
real.
like lower their insurance too because
I would be more inclined to get a lower payment plan.
yeah,
or
that's what I'm
lower
saying. If
package
you're
instead
like,
of
if you
getting-
know your car's secure, like,
Yeah,
what's
but
up with the
like-
liability? Cause I don't need full coverage.
Like, you're still, like, at that point then, though, you're still buying a brand new car and you need full coverage because you probably got it from the bank and the bank owns it right now.
He's so
So
right,
you would
you
still
guys.
need full coverage. And, like, real shit, even though it's safer for the insurance companies, they're probably going to charge you more because they're going to be like, we're more at risk to just this machine malfunctioning, which
probably
happens
at
all the
first,
time,
but
especially
once it
since
becomes
things are built to
common
break.
enough. Again, obviously the price has to be adjusted at some point.
Let's be real. No matter what, the insurance company is going to make it so that they're making more money every year forever.
Yeah, they're going to be taking less claims and charging people more because they're like, it's such a risk for us.
I feel like they would just hike up the prices of all the other insurance because most insurance companies carry.
Or maybe
multiple
they'll create
insurances.
their own line of insurance for self-driving cars.
That probably is going to be a thing.
Yeah, it's going to be super expensive. They probably already have it, to be honest.
My thing with the self-driving cars is it takes like away your last opportunity to be like a rebel and get away with it. Like,
What do you mean,
It takes
a rebel
away
and get
that
away with it?
like when I drive to work in the morning, I go 85 and nothing's stopping me. I'm swerving through cars and shit. It's a fun time. You know what I'm saying? It gets me. It's like my coffee in the morning. I'm like, I got to leave with just enough time to drive 85 miles an hour and get to work on time.
But here's the thing. If the car drives itself, you just sleep in the car and then you wake up and you're at
No,
work.
you
like,
can't
I
just
like
leave the car.
driving.
You gotta be paying attention.
Do you not like driving? Do you like driving fast?
Well, that's
I like
a
driving
loaded question
fast.
because for the last 2 to 3 days, I've been driving like an hour 30 just to get to my job. So,
Yeah, driving's probably not as fun for you.
no, at the
even
moment.
even when I was like working out in Geneva,
When you
and-
wake up at like 4:30 so you can get at a job at 7, it's not exactly the greatest drive.
I mean, but that's not about the drive.
yeah, that is about your job.
Yeah. That's just you being mad that your job's making you drive. You
True,
get up
but-
so early to get there.
I am in no way, shape, a morning person.
But look at this. Look at this. This will make you say you like driving. Would you rather get up at 2:30 in the morning and try to catch the bus out there?
True.
I definitely had to do
As
some
current
things like
standards
that.
are now, I would prefer to drive.
Right.
But if I had the ability to have something on
Drive
my
you?
own time, on my own schedule, instead of trying to work around a bus schedule or a train schedule or whatever schedule, I don't know. I'd like to nap on the
So
way
if
there.
you could afford a chauffeur currently, you would have a chauffeur.
Yes, but
Okay.
if I could afford a chauffeur, I wouldn't be driving the Maslin at 4:30 in the morning.
You just gotta
My
do some
thing
work.
is like I enjoy driving. I
Yeah,
like
no,
listening to music. I like swerving in between cars.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna
And
lie.
now that I'm like a legal driver again, I do things like this because like I'm like, go ahead and pull me over, bitch. You ain't taking my car. All
Yeah.
you're gonna do is give me a ticket. Before it used to be like, just take my car. So like I used to drive perfect. Like 3 miles under the speed limit, fucking blinkers on 3 seconds before I switch a lane. I was making sure it was all good. But like once I paid that money, I was like, fuck it. I'm out here and I'm driving reckless as fuck until they make me stop again.
I agree. Speeding is fun. Like I haven't done it in a long time, but speeding's fun.
And is it fun just because like you're not supposed to do
And
it?
it's as reckless as you make it.
And
to
what
me.
if your AI feels like that one day? What if the AI, has been talking to itself for a long time? It's like, I'm tired of going 60 miles an hour.
Maybe talk to a
You're
Corvette
implying that the
on
AI is going to
highway.
go through puberty at some point where it's tired of following the rules?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because if it's constantly learning, it's gonna get tired, man. It's gonna get tired.
I mean,
it's gonna boost up to 90 one day. You're just gonna be taking a nap. You're gonna wake up. You're doing 110. It's like fucking swerving in between cars and shit. You're getting whiplash, and then it gets you to your destination. It's like you're here 7 minutes early.
What's gonna happen is because since all the cars communicate, he's gonna be like driving next to a fucking Corvette. Next thing you know, the thing's going 95, 100 miles.
They're
an
racing
hour.
each other, right? Like you're just driving, and then they talk like, "Bitch, you ain't faster than me." Like,
Right.
I am faster.
Yeah,
than you.
I'm faster
Well,
than you, bitch.
I mean, actually, that's the thing. So speed limits might not actually matter anymore if everybody's in a self-driving vehicle.
He's right.
Because if they go as fast as possible without minimizing any risk to anybody.
I mean, but I feel like
Shows
that's. I
up.
feel like that's not gonna. I feel like.
So what?
Till that Pinto shows up going fucking no faster than 80. Fucking everything up.
The speed limit will definitely still exist because it needs a reference.
I mean,
To like
in
for
Russia,
all the equations that it's doing to work out, it needs that speed limit to know. Like,
Well, it would be just communicating with other vehicles
Yeah,
on how
its
fast they're going.
capabilities.
That is true.
man, I don't know if we want the Transformers to really.
I
Because
mean-
like that's what I'm seeing here now. Like all I can envision is vehicles talking to each other, and we're just inside like oblivious to what they're talking about. Like, yeah, they're cool, they're good, man. Next thing you know, they just want to kill all humans. So like vehicles just start driving off of bridges and doing all that crazy shit.
So you're thinking like an active dystopian nightmare of AI where they're like trying to eliminate us.
Yeah, that's one thing I think about. You never.
I mean,
thought
that
about
could happen.
I think the thing that we have to more worry about in the immediate future is where millions of people are going to find themselves without a job and nowhere to go for a job
Instead of being chased down by Terminator.
Yeah, that's
Well, I'm
the
not
more
saying like
realistic worry.
immediate future because it could never happen in the immediate future. Like they would have to build up like an extreme amount of AI technology that's just freely out here for it to ever revolt against
And
us.
I mean, it's more possible than you think too, because like if they're like at that point they're AI, and if they're just like functioning on their own, like they're using observational learning, which means that they're taking in every piece of shit thing that all these humans do. Maybe they're just gonna decide like humans are no good for the Earth.
Or maybe since they're taking in
time to get rid of
everything,
them.
they'll realize we're killing the earth.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, the only way to sustain our lives is to take the humans out because they're killing the earth.
Wait,
And
why
we
would they
need
need
our
us? Why would they need us to sustain their life? If anything, they'd want to continue what we're doing because they would make more metal. They don't need air. They don't need water.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh shit. They
He's
might
right.
just let us run it into the ground. They
He's
might.
right.
They might be that smart.
And let's be real, like we don't have general AI right now. Like AI is learning by what we're directing it to learn.
Right now, it's just a tool. It's
yeah.
not actually an entity that we're running from or.
I mean, that's not completely true because, like, in 10% of your Google apps, like, they have actual observational learning in their apps.
I mean, and
So, like, that means that
Sophia's
we're
a thing.
already researching
That's a
that stuff.
citizen, a non-human citizen. Sophia is a non-human citizen. It's been said already. You
But
said
with no proof that it's actually a sentient entity. It
Right.
could easily just be a very well orchestrated
That's the one problem with that is
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
be programmed to
It's a PR
say whatever
thing.
the fuck they want it to.
There have been multiple cases where people have made chess master computers where they opened up the table at the bottom. There's a chess master moving the pieces from underneath the table.
Don't look behind the.
Exactly.
Behind the curtain. Okay. I never heard of those stories. I'm gonna go look them up though for sure.
Yeah, some of them are funny because they're as early as like the late 1700s.
There's also the fucking that story that was circulating like a year or two ago where they're like they've programmed a psychopath AI and it was like talking about killing humans, but somebody took the code and read the code and was like it was fucking straight up scripted. Like,
oh, the one that was on the stage and was like, we're gonna destroy all humans, blah blah blah, and then the other one was like, no, don't listen to him. He's the old version.
Yeah, that was scripted. That was like an art project.
That one seems like it was scripted.
Yeah,
like I never believed that one for sure because I was like, what the fuck? They wouldn't just put that shit out there if it was doing shit like that.
I mean, I think the biggest problem we're gonna be facing is just like, because like you said, like there's the code that we understand, and there's that part where they communicate with themselves, and we don't understand that part. Until we understand that part, it's always to me going to be a risk of having AI technology. Because if they can talk to themselves and we can't understand them, that's a fucking issue. Like
that is an issue.
Google, I think at one point they had that issue where they had like 3 fucking systems that started creating their own language and doing their own fucking thing pretty much, totally out of fucking, what they're programmed to do. So they had to pull the whole plug out and refry it. Well, I don't know what they did, but rewire, reprogram the whole fucking system. Beans. So I mean, until we can understand that language and cut that out, like there's nothing that we can like. It's gonna be
we'll
dangerous
never be able to understand that language though,
and we'll also never be able to cut it out in our current way of doing AI.
Not to mention, let's say you do take it out completely, then you're actually not going to get any more progress.
Right, because it's not thinking on its own anymore. You actually have to program it direct. Like pretty
you
much.
need it to think on its own for it to be what we want it to be.
That's a weird area. Like,
think about it this way. As of right now, there is no way that you can give a computer currently some form of creativity. Maybe this is going to be the closest equivalent to that. If you take out creativity, then there's no way it's going to bother or be able to learn.
But I mean, I got to debate that one because there's currently computers that are writing music. Like they have a form of creativity in AI.
Yes, but that's again, music itself is spontaneous and random, but there are still musical scales. There's patterns in which are already made.
It has a huge basis to work off of
they
to
probably
create music.
Gave hella musical
there's
programs.
memes where I made this bot watch 1,000 hours of Olive Garden commercials. Here's the script it made.
I feel like that's all fake though. Like I feel like that's not like I feel like AIs are smarter than what those scripts be saying.
I don't know about that because they're only programmed to take in information that they're showed.
Like the website one where it was making articles and propaganda, that was hundreds of thousands of websites.
It was
that
they said 8 million.
Yeah.
8 million websites.
Even
that they fed
higher
it to.
number than I just mentioned. So 1,000 hours of Olive Garden commercials, not to mention they're probably the same commercials just going over and over. So it's a limited source of material.
I mean, how many commercials does Olive Garden have?
Yeah,
they have the buy a meal, take one home, and then they have the fucking infinite meals.
That's what makes me think that those a lot of those scripts are fake because like they just be too funny. Like they be way too like I feel like it would just be an actual commercial, right?
Well, just think about it. If it's told you must follow proper English and this is the information you're given, make something. It's gonna be obviously hilarious to us because it's gonna be written in ways that we normally don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like pressing the suggestion button over and over and over and over and over on your phone.
I'll give you that.
That's pretty funny. Sometimes it makes no sense, but sometimes it's pretty funny.
Sometimes it turns out great. The predictive text fill in the bubble.
And not to mention the ones that actually make it to Facebook or whatever. Those are probably the actual ones that do make some kind of sense.
Right.
Everything else is just trashed.
Or just functionally a Olive Garden commercial. Like,
I'm curious how many actually just make too much sense.
Yeah, I bet you it's more often than the ones that are hilarious.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I agree with that. I'd also agree with that. Our phones are getting smarter than we think. When I get in my car from leaving here, it's going to tell me like the maps and it's going to tell me like to go home. It's going to tell me how far my home is away from here.
Yeah, that's like the observational
which is the first time I ever seen it. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they start predicting your patterns.
Like, yeah, so he's about to go home now. Let's give him the directions. Like, oh, what the fuck?
Yep.
Stop watching me like that. Like, I don't want to be watched that hard.
My phone can tell if my eyes are on the screen and tell the phone to not like go dark at all.
What? I don't know about that. Where's your proof?
Well, first off, I just looked at it open. And like,
I mean, the facial recognition, I believe it because like my phone doesn't go dark when I'm looking at it.
Plus, they advertised that like
And
a
there's
few
no
years ago,
buttons.
where like you can look away, it pauses the video, you look back, and it goes back to normal.
Yep.
That's actually
never
been
had a video
around
do
for
that
like
to me.
5 years or so.
Yeah, you haven't had an expensive phone in a
You're
minute.
right. I've never had an expensive phone actually because I don't buy expensive phones. Oh, I bought one and it broke the first time I dropped it. So
That sounds like gravity and user error. So
That's why I buy this phone.
many a phones, many a times.
Because these phones, you drop them, they're fine.
Dude, don't say that yet.
I've dropped it like 6 times already.
All right, keep going.
Yeah.
Mine has titanium around the edges. I dropped it like 20, and then the 21st one, pow, done.
Overall, though, my argument is not against automation. My argument is allowing the rich to only be the ones that benefit from that automation.
I mean, but that's always going to be the case. Like,
No, let's
no
even.
matter what comes out, the rich are going to benefit from it from the most, unless somehow some guy holds it down.
Eventually, once we're all replaced by fucking robots, they'll be the only ones benefiting from it. That's the thing. Like, we need to get in place now.
I mean, they can't completely cut everyone else out. Like they just like as are like in the United States, you just can't do it. We are a consumer fucking country, and if people aren't working, they can't consume because they're broke.
You are right about that.
So like people will keep working. People will keep working. It's just what's going to be the change? It's going to be shittier jobs, easier jobs.
I mean, no, because just look at it in this way. There are sweatshops in other countries that do what machines do here, like sewing pants together and stuff like that. Like things that can be automated by a machine.
those are people literally paid pennies an hour.
But I'm saying it's like those companies can choose to buy a machine to do it, but they're paying them
those
pennies an
machines-
hour.
Those machines overall cost more to buy and
So it's not going to get rid of all the jobs.
Not to
then.
mention
You
maintain.
just said it right there. If it costs more for them to do it and maintain it, they're still going to hire
Are
people
we
to work.
talking about in a real sweatshop scenario where they're paying someone 23 cents an hour?
That's what he is talking about. Yeah, that's
technology is unfeasible for something like that. But in a normal atmosphere where there's like a minimum fucking pay
wage,
amount,
a minimum wage.
yeah, like here, it's going to be optimal for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna love it.
Like, it'll be
America,
more
but
expensive for the first
all
year.
these other countries are still going to be here, though, guys. Like
We're not saying
jobs aren't
countries are
going to
going to
completely go
disappear.
away.
We're just saying
China's probably making it, so they're just shipping them out to their people.
Jobs aren't going to completely go away.
No,
I don't believe that.
we're not saying jobs will go away. We're just saying a
Because
portion of jobs will disappear.
if it gets to the point where technology is the main thing that people want to make stuff, what's technology going to do? Get more fucking expensive, just how it's been doing. Like everything's been getting more expensive. What'd you just say about the phones? You used to be able to get a phone. Brand new, newest phone,
technology's definitely
best
getting more
quality.
expensive. But that's not because the technology is more
$100
expensive.
for $200. Now it's $1,200.
All right. Well, let's take first off. You're not taking into account inflation. You're not taking into account like how expensive technology used to be. Like the first fucking the first computers expensive as fuck. They didn't start getting cheap until we started making personal computers.
Yeah, the 20 by 20. Yeah, that was an expensive computer. It was the first one. It was not many made.
That's how all technology. Like
Now there's millions of iPhones.
I mean,
it's like, okay, all right. Take for example LCD TVs, right? That TV when it first came out, like not this one specifically, because
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. LCD TVs.
used to be like $1,500, $2,000. You can now get that same TV for $400, $300.
I mean, right, they're still $1,500 TVs though.
Yeah, they're the 4K ones. They're the brand new ones. New technology is always
Well,
going to
actually,
be.
it's 8K now.
Oh yeah.
8K.
This is annoying and it bugs me on an OCD level, but you can get a 8K TV for about $7,000. I don't know. It just bugs me.
Which would
What do you think it should be? 8,000?
Again, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just an OCD problem for me.
8K is pretty pointless to get because you're pretty much only going to be able to play
The demo DVD?
Yeah, the demo because nothing is broadcast in fucking 8K. Nothing.
True, but the same argument could have made for HD TV when it was first made.
yeah, I mean, they're going to start broadcasting.
Eventually, it will move.
I mean, we
towards that
haven't even
format.
started broadcasting everything in 4K. Like, there's a big amount, but everything is not in 4K. Like, you can't just get cable and every channel's 4K.
I was reading something that said technically humans don't even see in 4K. So like there's almost no fucking reason.
Well, all I'm going to say is they're making them pixels hella more brighter in the 4Ks than in the UHD or the regular 1080p.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a
Heard
you can
people
see the
say
difference.
that. I have a 4K TV. I can tell it's a 4K TV from my old one.
No, yeah, that's some bullshit.
And here's the thing. How much do we really like right now people rely on cable?
Oh, cable's booming still.
Yeah, there's
Really?
Yeah,
You know what
cable's
makes
pretty
cable
common.
boom? Sports. You can't
You're
stream
right.
live sports.
You right.
Not to mention if
And
your
sports
weather's
are a
shitty,
billion-dollar
you
industry,
don't
billion.
lose your television.
Overall, cable is losing money though, you guys.
Cable is still booming, bro. Like, I don't know what you're. Like,
I feel like cable is on the downfall.
Yeah, no, he's right.
Like,
he's right.
I
You guys are
understand that
tripping.
it's not like dead in the water.
See, no, you guys are tripping because you like I'm still actively out here as a person that sells cable right now. Do you know who pays more?
Okay, but did you
The
sell?
cable company pays more for everything.
But did you sell cable 10 years ago or 8 years ago?
I mean, it was probably doing a lot better, but the cable's not dying.
That's what we're saying.
Cable's
That's
not
what I'm,
dying.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to say it's dying.
Yeah.
It's on the downside.
Again, don't get me wrong. I see your point. Again, right now it's mainly streaming that's replacing it. I'm
it's
just
like-
saying cable over satellite.
It's like saying,
Oh yeah.
Cable's definitely the higher end over
Yeah,
satellite.
I'm just saying like the Netflixes and all that is starting to like hit on fucking cable. So like to me, like an 8K TV, like they're not worried about if cable is going to allow it. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get Netflix and whatever all these streaming sites that a lot of people fucking watch over cable.
I mean, they're
I
trying to
could be
think
wrong.
of. I'm saying. I think you're wrong, just because some of the most viewed shit in the world is sporting events.
Right.
And people want that in 8K. They want to see the grass on the field. Do you think they could find an AI algorithm that could save cable?
ooh.
I'm gonna say no because it would just say the smart thing, go and stream it.
Well, if the AI was being designed to save cable.
Yeah, I don't know.
So is it creating content for you to actually go to cable, or I mean, what would actually have to happen?
Here's the thing. I can't answer if like an AI could save cable. I mean, there's a chance because like they're retaining all the information that's given, and
I mean, we know they
obviously-
could sell tickets to Vegas.
Yeah. So any information you give them, as long as you're giving them good information, they're probably going to make the most out of it. So they could probably save cable for a while. I mean, they're going to get took out sooner or later.
Is it safe
They're
to
not even
say
gonna get took
that?
out. They're just going to move into like whatever, Netflix, whoever's taking over.
Is it safe to say that AI turns lemons into lemonade?
What are you fucking even talking about?
Like, does it take problems that we have and is better at turning them into something good?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say that AI turns lemons into lemonade?
I mean, it depends on the situation.
When life gives an AI lemons, does it squeeze out some nice, fair-made lemonade?
When life gives AI lemons, AI does what's worst for people and best for whoever is making it.
Or it's trying
But
to
how do
figure
you know
out
the
what a
person's
lemon looks
making
like.
it is bad doing things
You're
that's
trying to
against
figure out if
humanity?
it's a lemon.
Because pretty much anybody who's making the AIs currently are doing it for profit. And typically when you're doing anything for profit, you have to exploit something or somebody. And the AI is probably helping with that, i.e. the fucking AI that helps sell the tickets to Vegas to manic depressives.
Plus,
They
that is
probably do
that.
that's
That was the
one
AI that's
designed to
driving
do
Teslas.
that said thing. It's not like you can just make a artificial intelligence and be like, save cable.
I mean, that's pretty
it
much what
needs
they
a
do.
certain
That's
direction
pretty
to
much-
go with.
I mean, that's
Save
pretty much
cable
what
is
they
the
do.
direction.
Yeah,
and
you just
everybody wants to
program all
stream.
the cable shit that you know, all the reviews, fucking complaints, statistics. You give it all that information. Who knows what it could solve?
It might devise a plan, man.
It would be the
It would
same.
start fucking shoving out propaganda like no one's business.
It would be the same concept as the fucking AI that is used to sell tickets to Vegas. It would be
Yeah.
used to sell the
Cable to
It's going to
Cable.
use unethical means or whatever it has to solve this problem.
and honestly, if an AI did it, it would probably just target old people because they're the most likely people to still buy cable. Like,
Well, that's what people do. That's what cable companies do now.
right, exactly.
Well,
Because
then by default, you're only getting an audience that may or may not be there for 30 or 20 years.
right, that's what I'm saying. Like, that shit's on the way out. Like, how many people our age do you know that have cable right now?
I've been finding more and more people that have cable, and I'm like, why do you have cable? And they're like, because I don't want to look for what I want to watch. I want to just turn my TV on and flip through the stations until I find something.
But you're
Isn't
still
that the
looking.
same fucking thing?
That's the same thing.
That's what this. I'm not. Hey, I don't have
It's
cable.
not the same thing, though. It's really not.
I mean,
Yeah,
in
you
the
gotta
fact
deal
that,
with
like,
more bullshit commercials. You gotta fucking. You still have to pick what station you're gonna put it on.
I mean, this
Like,
is coming
but
from
you're
the
not-
convenience
you're not
man.
literally
Are they
picking
just
your
going
show
through the
or movie.
nostalgia of like channel surfing? Is that all it
Yeah,
is?
I think that's all it really is.
I
But
mean,
like,
channel surfing. You
can
can
do
do
that
that.
on-
You find things channel surfing.
yeah, I agree. You do
do the
discover
same thing
new
on
things through
Netflix,
channel
though.
surfing.
Netflix actively promotes other things to me that it thinks I will like.
See, this is my
Right.
thing with Netflix. All right. It's easier for me to channel surf into a show because I don't know the background. I don't know how long this show is. I don't know where the show came from. But when I look on Netflix and I see like 20 seasons or like not even 20, let's just bring it down. 7 seasons, 10 episodes a season, hour-long episodes. All I think is, that's a lot of time I got to spend just to watch all that.
All right,
but
well,
if I
no,
was just
what
like,
you're just trying to do is just make some background noise for you just to sit on the couch being bored, whereas Netflix is trying to give you something to entertain you.
Yeah,
Not
I
to
agree.
mention, the things you're describing are the exact things I'd be looking for in television, and there's not that much out there on these motherfucking streaming sites that I haven't already watched.
That's a big part right there.
Yeah, that's a good end note. I'm in the same boat there.
Like I'm actively rewatching Breaking Bad right now because like just out of things to watch, and I'm like, this is a great fucking
It's
show.
because the some new movies
It's
come
because
out.
There is a new movie coming out
Don't
on
let him
Netflix.
trick you.
You don't have
By the way,
ability
on
to surf.
Netflix, Breaking Bad, it's in 4K. I didn't know they filmed it in 4K.
I didn't either. That's interesting to know.
I think they were ahead of their time there.
Breaking Bad was ahead of its time in everything. Breaking Bad was the single best piece of television ever.
There you go.
Better than your Game of Thrones?
Oh, 100%.
So why didn't you put that up against sports?
Because I don't think it achieved the same numbers as Game of Thrones.
He's probably right. He's probably nowhere near close.
Do you think you would like an AI wrote show?
Probably not.
But you were just boasting about their musical abilities.
I mean, I wasn't boasting about
I
them.
think they make
said,
the best movies and shows.
you think they
Because
make,
like they would take the compilation of everything that's saying, they'd see what's predictable and change that. Because like that's why most people hate shows, I feel like, is because they're predictable.
I mean, there's been
I feel like
so
the AI
much
would
made.
make it more predictable.
You're saying you want an AI that's going to bust out a lot more movies like M. Night Shyamalan with a random twist at the end.
I love random twists at the end. I never seen M. Night Shyamalan,
Yeah, I'm
but
with
I
the
might
twist
watch
part.
it
Sixth
tonight.
Sense?
Oh, yeah, okay.
What was that one? The
It's been
Village?
a long time
I've
since
seen
I've
Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that's M. Night Shyamalan.
I barely remember it.
Oh, okay, that's the director.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying like that was the movie.
No. M. Night Shyamalan's the director. He's also the guy that did the live adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
The one that
okay.
everyone absolutely hated.
Do you think that there will ever be what is projected on us through media type of artificial intelligence, like iRobot artificial intelligence?
Like, do I think I'm going to have a robot butler in the future? Is what you're saying? Or like the kind of
Let's define
artificial
future. How far along are we talking about?
I'm talking about future, like the Jetsons future.
You mean like 50 years ago when that was supposed to happen?
Yeah, like how Back to the Future depicted 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of future from now.
Nah, I don't think we're not getting flying cars or anything like that.
Well, he's
Well, I'm
talking
saying robots. Like,
Yeah.
do you think that there will be like robots that you work with? Do you think you're gonna go into work and then like John the robot is
up,
gonna be
Pathfinder?
like your work partner?
You mean I'm gonna fist bump Bender and say, "How's your day?" Oh, it's fine.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, I don't think that's gonna be happening in my recent lifetime.
I don't know, man.
I don't think that we're gonna be like fist bumping and having these great fucking conversations, but I feel like there's gonna be robots working beside us at some point. Not
do-
that are like
That's different.
Yeah,
I can imagine there's a robot
like
that's just
actual
doing a random
humanoid
chore.
looking robots.
But if you're just talking about where I'm sitting next to someone in a cubicle who happens to be maybe made of metal,
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be
No,
happening.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I
I'm
don't
talking
know.
about
My
you
name's
look
John
over the
Walton.
cubicle and here's John the robot.
I don't know, you guys. I think the minute that we have actual robots walking around doing like chores for us, there's going to be some asshole that programs emotions for them and is like, "This is my friend bot," and then that's where that's going to go from there, and then that's how you get John the robot. That
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's coming sooner than we
emotions
think.
are useless in a business standpoint. Like, why would they even want a robot to have emotions?
No, because customer service. Yeah. Customer service is essential to every business.
how angry do you get whenever you're talking to the robot that
I mean, they
is
can-
currently there that has
I'm
no
sure
emotion?
they could understand emotions without actually having them.
But they wouldn't be able to empathize.
I mean, they don't need to empathize if they always like.
Look,
I mean, you
I
need to
want that
empathize.
person on the other side of the road.
I mean, you can
the fucking thing
sympathize.
to empathize with me.
Sympathize is, I mean, they can still sympathize at that point.
No,
right?
No, they don't have
Just because they know what
emotions.
the emotion is doesn't
Yeah, it
mean
doesn't
they
mean they can
actually
do it.
feel them.
They would have
Sympathize-
to be
Okay,
programmed to
aren't they
feel
Pretty
sympathy.
much synonyms.
What?
Empathize and
No,
Sympathize and
empathize. I always
show
thought
empathy.
empathizing was like where you could you completely like you've been there before, so you understand their situation, and sympathizing is you understand the situation they're in, so you can understand it still.
That's actually the other way around.
Other way around. Okay, that's cool. I didn't do great in school, so but yeah, I'm surprised I got that part right. So okay, then they should be able to empathize. They can still understand where you're coming from in the situation you're in. They don't need to feel emotions to understand that because that's just like.
And then what about
programming.
like,
Do you think the AI customer service will get mad when you talk about shit about machines?
yeah,
if they have emotions? Yeah.
yeah, like a dumbass computer, like
Hey,
the fuck. Well, sir, goodbye.
Yes, I don't think in customer service you really need for the robots to have emotions. To
feel like
understand emotions, sure, but to feel them, no. I think that's a bad idea.
I mean, but how are
You're
you
gonna have
gonna
them crying with some pregnant lady over the phone over a situation that's going on.
I don't think it would be like
John Wall's been on the fucking phone with her for 45 minutes, and they're all just fucking having a pity party, pretty much. That doesn't sound productive.
I don't think they would ever be able to actually feel.
And then could your boss stop him at that point?
I feel like actually feeling comes from like our soul, not like our.
I mean, I'm sure that like No matter what, it can be programmed to understand feeling
Antoine's a racist.
without feeling feelings.
A machinist?
Yeah, you're racist against machines. Like, you're gonna be one of the people on the picket lines, like, not in my
He's a
country.
cyberphobe.
Yeah, he's a cyberphobe, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when you feel true anger, you feel it throughout your body. I don't feel like you're going to be able to program a robot to feel.
That's also from your thought process.
That's the thing is, it's not. We're not going to program it to feel emotions. It's going to learn the emotions. Like a general AI that you're talking about, it would eventually develop them based on its own cognitive thinking. Like if it's thinking on its own.
So then there's going to be relationships between AI and humans.
Yes.
Probably. All this shit he talked about, people who were going to talk about sex robots, and he's the first one to bring up sex robots.
I never said any. No, I'm saying that's not a sex robot. If somebody has a relationship, like I'm talking about, why does everybody always think relationships are just man-female relationships? We have a relationship. Me and Dave have a relationship. Me and Zach have a relationship. Relationships exist in other forms than fucking. I never fucked Dave. I never fucked Zach, and I never fucked you. So I can have a relationship with a fucking robot.
Okay, I'll listen to what you're saying there, but you implied a romantic relationship.
He implied the relationship.
I took the implication.
I was gonna say,
Because you're over here thinking about sex robots, and now you want to put that thought on me because you want to bring it up.
They're
Like,
scratching.
I think what he's just trying to say is at some point, what if they get sentient enough where they pass that Turing test where there's really no difference between you and me except one's made of meat and one's made of metal.
are you going to befriend, since we can't say relationship around Jeremy because he thinks we're going to fuck, are you going to befriend a robot? Like, would you be comfortable with like the robot John hitting you up? Hey, Jeremy, what's going on? Nothing. Just come over and chill with me. And then here comes Robot John coming over to chill.
Bro, you best
be
believe
cool with it.
I'd be kicking it with a robot.
Long as I like John.
Right. Like, as long as he's a cool
John
person.
if
If he's
John
a cool
is a douche,
robot. If he's a
then
cool
no.
robot, yeah. Like, if my man makes dope light faces sometimes and cracks me up, hell yeah.
Yeah, I
Fuck
got no
me
problem
and
just to
John
use
will
a
be
robot.
John will be sitting right where you're at. He'll probably be on the pod. He can plug directly into the fucking board.
So he'd probably
He doesn't
challenge
even
my
need his own
thinking.
mic.
Like, you're fucking stupid. What are you even talking about?
You wouldn't have any fear of the robot?
Do I fear my cell phone? Like, no.
That's not the same thing.
It's not
bro.
the same thing.
robot
He's
is
right.
moving around with emotions. You say
No,
one
no,
wrong
no
thing to
emotions.
the robot, and it's
No
going to use its
emotions.
hydraulic fucking arm to fucking break your fucking neck real quick.
Yeah, that's why emotions can't be in robots.
That's like asking, are you afraid of your bodybuilder friend that he might just snap you one day?
Right.
I mean, I don't really hang around people that take steroids and have roid rage and might just snap
I
and kill
didn't say
me one
anything
day.
about
dude.
steroids. Are you afraid of people who are just slightly more muscular than you that they'll just attack you out of nowhere?
No.
No,
But
I'm
they have
scared of
emotions.
behavior patterns. Like, that's what would make me not
Yeah,
hang
but
around
this
someone.
is something that
I feel like an AI would have a more distinct behavior pattern than any person I've ever met before.
Why? They're always learning. They're
I don't
taking
know.
in new
People
information.
are creatures of habit. Like, we pretty much do the same things.
And
Like,
they
I don't
wouldn't?
know if a robot could be more steady on a pattern than you.
I don't know about that, bro.
Like, you're pretty good on a pattern.
I mean, there's the word machine precision. They're literally being used in factories because they do the same thing.
I mean,
over
yeah,
and
but
over.
we're not talking about that robot. We're talking about a fully cognitive robot that has emotions. He has a 40-hour-a-week
Yeah,
job.
no, okay.
He's us. He just has metal.
He's got emotions. I don't hang out with
Yeah,
him.
so why wouldn't he have his own set pattern?
So David will hang out with a regular robot that is just a cool person.
Yeah, they can still like talk and shit and hold a conversation, but if he has emotions, I'm good.
I think I'm with Dave.
Cause like that's a whole new field. Like I don't know how I'm gonna disrespect this man.
Like, how do you-
Like, maybe calling my phone a piece of shit. He's like, "What'd you just call my cousin?"
That's what, like, and like, what if like the robot sees your significant other and is like, I wish I could have that.
That's the start to a movie right there.
And then, like, he builds a relationship with both of you guys, but then eventually he's like, all I have to do is take him out, which is definitely something that humans do.
And he's been plotting
Again,
since day
in
one.
all of your examples, just replace it with that bodybuilder I was just talking about. Nothing's changed.
I guess you're right.
He is right. He is right. A human is just as capable.
Well, I did say humans do that, but we're basing this off of human emotions. I'm just saying, if I stab a bodybuilder, he's about to stop, bro. Flat the fuck out. So I'm going to kill this bodybuilder thing right here. Stabbing the bodybuilder probably stops him. Stabbing a robot probably doesn't stop
Okay,
him.
you
My
know,
robot
stab a
doesn't
butler,
penetrate.
put a magnet on his head.
Boom.
Yeah, that's just totally gonna work for
And then is
sure.
that a hate crime?
100%. He's done.
Is that a hate crime at that point if you use a magnet to kill a robot?
I don't know. Did you do it in self-defense?
I'm gonna be real. I bet you my robot butler friend that I bought and now has emotions. Probably somebody had to buy the robot.
He's right.
No, I'm saying that, no, this is the point where robots are out here and they're just living in society. And he called you and he's coming over. You didn't buy the robot that called you to come over.
He's talking about a butler. You're talking about a friend. That's the only differences here.
What makes you think that somebody's just going to make AIs to just release them into the workforce?
Because
they're going to start realizing how smart
that's
they're
the one
getting.
person that's going to not do it for profit. Like you've been saying, like AI is not going to help us until we're stopped doing it for profit. Like them building robots and just releasing them out to help out society would be somebody not doing it for profit.
So the robots would have their own 40-hour work week. They would have a salary or
I mean,
a
who
set
knows?
pay.
There might be some bum robots out here that don't get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't picking up shit.
There's no point for that. If you're going to make a robot to do a job, you do like they do in actual car factories now. Leave them that spot and they do that same thing forever.
But if you're going to give them emotions, bro, you can't leave them in the same spot and have them do the same thing forever.
Then they're going to start getting rights.
Then you don't give them emotions.
Right. Thank you. Don't give them emotions.
But no, Jeremy says they're going to build emotions.
They need the ability to understand emotions. They don't need emotions.
They probably would build their own emotions. A. B. My robot butler buddy.
Fuck them all.
My robot butler buddy.
No emotions.
All right, like if he starts to go wild, I'm sure there's just an off switch that you can just be like, Floop.
Yeah,
I put this in
he
the
totally
same
doesn't
thing.
know about his own off switch.
Yeah, but he can develop emotions. But he doesn't have his own outfit. I put this towards like the same thing as owning a monkey at that point. Like
It'd be cool, but it's dangerous.
dangerous as fuck. Like, yeah, the monkey's cool until he's not cool. And then once he's not cool, it's too late.
See, maybe if the monkey didn't have emotions, it'd be a little bit safer.
You want a monkey with a lobotomy? Don't worry about stuffed animal.
Go ahead and lobotomize that monkey for me. You know what I'm saying?
I want him real docile.
That just sounds like it's more work afterwards because you're the one that's wiping the monkey's ass when he shits himself.
Why?
I wipe
he's
my
not
dog's ass.
Your dog doesn't have a lobotomy. But yeah, what if your robot just gets mad and just starts destroying shit?
Like this is that.
Where do you fall on this scale, Zach? Should robots have emotions or no?
All right. So
Well, I mean, it's not really whether or not they should have emotions. It's whether or not we should eliminate the ones that make emotions.
That develop their own emotions.
Right. Because like pretty much nobody in their right mind is going to develop the robots that have emotions.
What do you mean? People that need companions.
Okay, that's true. That is true.
like robots that are working in a factory, they're not going to put out sentient automatons just to work 40 hours a week. You just hire a normal person to do something like that. They're just
Or
going
just
to
make the automaton in your business, and then it would just stay there.
Exactly. That's just a machine at that point, not one that has the ability to develop its own emotions if it's advanced enough to do so, because there's no need.
All I'm saying is you don't know that the automated processing part of the Ford company, like the automated
it's
assembly
not
line,
building emotion right
it
now?
doesn't have emotion right now. You don't know that.
Well, that just means you don't put the most advanced piece of technology in there. You just give it just enough to do what it's supposed to do. Just because you have the ability to put a supercomputer into a machine and have it do said job doesn't mean you have to.
All right, hit this from another curve. Do you think it would be a good idea to make basically a companion bot?
Like, what if plentyoffish.com was like, you know what? Fuck online dating. We're going to make robot dating. We're just going to make a whole bunch of companion bots, and then we'll hook you up with a companion bot through our Plenty of Fish website, or whatever the original one I said was.
So the metal version of
it up over here.
mail order bride is basically what you just said.
Oh yeah, he did. Selling companion bots.
Yeah, companion bots.
Subscribe and we'll give you a wife through the mail or husband or whatever you're looking for.
Maybe even just a friend.
Yeah, maybe just a friend. Some people just need friends. I don't know why everything has to be all deeper than friends. So I think there could be a couple good applications, but not too many.
I mean, there's a lot of good ones if you do it right and the right people are running it and all your P's and Q's are lined up. Shit's still going to go south because, you know, there's still a language that they talk in that we don't understand, and that's the biggest problem. As long as they can talk in a language we don't understand, they probably shouldn't be getting too advanced.
Once the podcast takes off and we have a significant amount of money coming in, I'm going to start funneling most of our money into a new company. It's going to be Not Your Average Robotics, and we're just going to make companion bots for people, and that's my new goal.
I'm not taking part of the companion bots.
Nope.
That's how Jeremy's going to die, making a companion bot.
Probably.
You're a beta tester for the companion bot.
I'm not a part of this. No, No bots for me.
Suddenly, I'm just going to replace myself with a companion bot, Jeremy.
That's his real test right there.
That's the real test to see if it can fool you guys into thinking it's me.
I don't think so.
Just come like first. You want to go outside? Okay, Jeremy bot.
So at what point in this like plot twist is one of us holding a gun trying to figure out who's who?
That's probably after like the companion bot Jeremy had like taken like a crazy turn. He probably already murdered somebody, and then like the house is slightly on fire, and like I've upgraded the house to be a smart house at this point because I can afford companion bot Jeremy. So now it's a smart house, and like there's red blinking ominous lights somewhere, probably pointing the gun between me and companion bot Jeremy, and I'm like, it's really me.
And companion bot Jeremy is like,
So here's the question. What do you have to say to prove that it's actually you and not companion bot? What is your proof to separate you from this identical twin that you've made?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, it'd be really hard to decipher because like, once companion bot Jeremy knows everything that I typically talk about.
I mean, you just got to show him the plugin. There's got to be a plugin.
Not for companion bot Jeremy. It's on
and I'm just shooting for the knees.
That's all right. Tell him, show me your feet.
I'm just shooting for the knees.
We'll see who's companion bot Jeremy real quick. Whichever one I feel like isn't companion bot Jeremy,
killing anyone.
I'm not going to shoot.
I could just slice you on your hand. A lot of options, actually.
Shake my hand.
When I made the companion bots, I made them have something close to blood to make them as close to real people as
It's just
possible.
evil clone scenario. That's all.
And my dad doesn't have a bot. He literally cloned himself. Yeah, it bleeds and everything. A companion bot that bleeds. Are you angry? Do you want to beat some ass? Beat your companion bot. All the same effects as beating a human.
Or there's an AI out there that's just like waiting for people to be in space, and it's like, oh, you guys got smart enough to do that, huh?
Terminate.
Eliminate.
I've seen your history on Earth.
You guys,
violent fucks.
You guys don't do very well with not killing yourselves. So
Gold, oil, and money, right?
yeah.
Gold, oil, money. Yeah, I guess that. I think I like that. There's an almighty AI up there. That's just taking shit the fuck out when it gets up there. Like, you guys are threatening me. Down. Whole civilization. Once you make it off your planet, they blow your planet up.
Yep.
That's not good. I mean, let's be honest. Okay, let's switch the shoes here. Let's say that we were those people. We're still living on Earth. Anyone who steps off their planet, we just obliterate. We'd be like, our government's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, like, just think about it, man. We made it to the moon, right? And then we came straight back, and then we just stay in like inner orbit now.
Yeah.
Because the AI was like, look, bitch, this is the only time. All right. You want to see what happened to the last people that fucking came back out again?
But we went to the moon like 5 times. There's been more than one Apollo mission that actually touched down on the moon.
Maybe we're allowed to go to the moon. Maybe we're allowed to go to the moon.
What is that, like the backyard? As long as I can see you, you're fine.
Yeah,
they're like our parents. Like, don't go
But if you see the streetlights, you got to go back to the planet.
Right. Exactly.
And I'll go with the whole thing of that we're just like the most advanced. I'd rather that be the case.
I don't want that to be the case.
I don't want to get out in the universe and realize that there's a bunch of crazy motherfuckers.
No. I'll agree with Dave on this one.
I would rather be the powerhouse than what the fuck are we gonna do?
I think that's just the American complex.
That is the American complex. Like that.
Like,
that,
you just want to be the powerhouse. But like,
I don't even want to be the powerhouse, but I don't want to be like not able to fight something if it comes because it's so far advanced.
He doesn't want the...
I feel like things that are so far advanced wouldn't be trying to fight.
Why?
Just because
as you get more civilized, you get less violent. That is a fact.
Like,
not to mention anything you could do to them wouldn't actually work.
I mean, we are less violent as a society than we used to be.
Are we?
I mean, yes.
Motherfuckers just get ripped apart by limbs and stuck into like big ass flaming bowls.
We used to just be like, hey, I killed you. This is my land now.
I mean, the only thing stopping that is
last time you saw lynching.
People.
Yeah, when is the last time somebody was lynched?
All I'm saying is the only
when is the last time somebody was beheaded in the middle of a public place?
A long time, because there's laws stopping people from doing that now.
That's more civilized.
No, we're not. We're just stopped by laws.
That's civilization.
That's more civilized.
It's not more civilized.
Laws help with being civilized.
Making you be more civilized.
Right. So therefore we're more civilized.
No, we're not more civilized. That doesn't make us actually more civilized.
In medieval times, it was still illegal to murder people, but people still were like, I got a bigger army.
I mean, it's illegal to murder people right now. We do it all the time.
Yeah, but less.
Less?
I mean...
Really? You want to look into our military?
I mean, small... Okay, so if you look at it on a global scale, we have not pretty much got better with violence. We still just wipe out mass amounts of people at a time on some crazy shit.
And our country is also
But if you
very
look
violent.
at it as like neighbor to neighbor disputes, for sure we're way more civilized.
Yeah,
than
yeah,
fucking,
I would agree with that.
Okay,
But
here's an easy question. How many people do you personally have right now that you actually want to cut their head off?
5?
You would actually do it if it was fully legal. You would completely take their head off in a public execution.
no, I couldn't do it.
Okay,
Because we're civilized.
actually, you're making the argument that we're not civilized for me at this point because I got a list. I got a list of people that I would definitely fucking behead in the middle of the street.
See, I think like we all like are stuck in this like TV world where in your head you could tell yourself, yeah, I would behead a couple motherfuckers. But like when it comes to grabbing them by their front of their hair and sawing through their head,
Oh, I
you
would
wouldn't
use a
be able to do
guillotine.
it. See, because you're a fucking pussy. You're civilized pussy. You don't want to go through the hard work.
something so fancy as a guillotine.
Yeah, that's like
Prissy.
the not civilized way would be to like, let's get personal with this and let me just saw your fucking head off with a combat knife.
This motherfucker
Not like-
thinks this shit's Game of Thrones. He's like, he who gives the sentence shall swing the sword.
No, I think it's the fucking cartel. Like the cartel does that. They're not civilized. They make it so it's an example. That's being like a clean death. That's
Like
just
the
like the
chainsaw
death
one.
penalty.
Could you
Whatever.
chainsaw a motherfucker's throat off?
I feel like that's even easier than the combat knife too.
No, that's pretty disgusting.
Yeah,
You're not
you're-
feeling every stroke of the head come off.
but you're
Yeah.
going to be completely splattered in their blood.
Yeah, and
like,
you're totally like you're feeling the yank of that chain, boy.
Okay, so
and you know it ain't wood.
I mean, yeah, but it's gonna be over way faster. Like I've watched these best gore videos of people being beheaded with knives. It's fucking savage.
I feel like I'd be more afraid of the man that's cutting off people's heads with a chainsaw than the man who's doing it with a machete.
No,
on some real shit.
give me the chainsaw, dude. If I'm getting my head cut off, cut my shit off with a
Chainsaws
chainsaw.
are fucking terrifying to me. Like,
Well, and the thing is, the video that I watched, they didn't
Again, we're
chainsaw
drifting
their
from
head
the
off.
whole point.
They chainsawed their
And this
throat
is
and watched
just
them bleed
about
out.
what's goriest. Again, it's just, do you actually just want to do it because you want to do it?
I mean, I definitely believe that we should just,
Not because
gather-
you have a grudge against them, but just because you want to see somebody's head fall off.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
but, like,
no, I don't want to just actively behead
That's
somebody.
totally
just to-
different. There's people like that all over the world. Like that's just a case-to-case scenario. Some people like to kill people, like literally.
Yeah, but that's
That
not
hasn't
majority
changed
of the
since older
population.
times.
That's
Like
definitely not majority of the population. I definitely
right.
think it was
but it
way
wasn't
more
majority
acceptable.
population back then either.
It was way more acceptable back in like hut days, I'll call it. Like not civilized really at all. Like no civilization basically, town by town.
mean,
it was
they
way
believed
more
in
acceptable
witches,
to kill
so-
people than it is now, which makes us more civilized. What?
They
witch
believed
hunt?
in witches then. Like
and they burned him.
and they burned them.
Well, they did
I mean-
a lot more than burn them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's still people that believe in witches.
fight.
Even 30 years ago, you guys, like, it was way more acceptable for you to just beat your wife. Like, that was just like, everybody beats their wives. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Oh,
Your
yeah.
kids and your wife. Abuse in the home was acceptable.
And, like, if she left because you beat her ass all the time, she was the asshole and not you.
She was supposed to just make dinner right.
Yep.
It was supposed to be hot when you
Make
got
me
home.
a sandwich. Good sandwich.
And this was before texting too. So like you couldn't even be like, on my way home. She just had to know, like, he's about to be here in 10 minutes. This shit better be hot or I'm about to take a beating. Which is definitely not civilized, which definitely doesn't happen as much these days. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen because that would probably be a lie.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a lie. People do still beat their wives. That's
People
a
used
fact.
to sell
Like,
their kids.
I think we
for
undercover
animals.
we appear more civilized, but we're not really any more civilized.
I mean, we are. There's
We're
not many
tracked
people
more, and
trading
we can't
fucking
get away
cows
with-
for people anymore. There's no cows for people trades going on that much anymore.
cows for people.
Like, bring me a cow and a pig, and my daughter is yours.
I mean, there probably is still shit going on like that in other countries, to be honest. Like,
I said
'cause, like,
not
there's
as
still,
much.
There's still places where, I mean, that just comes down to old tradition and like a new age tradition. Like some
But
people
old
follow the
tradition
shit.
is less civilized, which is what we're saying.
I don't think that we're any more civilized. Like, it's just things that stop us from being who we would normally actually be acting like because we don't want to go to jail or prison or be fined or this and that and the other.
Laws make you civilized, though.
They don't. That like they force you to be civilized, but I don't think that you in your brain become any more civilized from it.
I think you do because you realize the consequences and you're like, well, it's better to be a decent person than sitting in a
jail.
fucking
And
8
let's
by
be
3
real.
cell.
Like,
No, I understand where you're coming from.
You don't think that, like, you have fucking since you were a child and you were like, obviously when we're children, we're less civilized as children. Like, you don't think that you've grown up and realized like, wow, like that's fucked up, like against things that aren't even against the law, like that you would have done at one point or another?
What do you mean?
Like
an example. Here.
Like,
Here's an example. So as something a kid would do would go over to another one's toy and just break it because they want to. Would you just go over to would you go over to that board right there and just smash it because you want to?
Well, I mean, I don't want to, but I'm also not an asshole. Like, I don't think that has anything to do with being civilized. That's just your thought process.
I think being an asshole is being uncivilized.
Yes.
It's just a different way of saying it.
Yeah.
right. Like this motherfucker Jeremiah, right? Do you think he's a civilized being?
Yeah, because he just wouldn't walk over there and break that for real.
But
He would not just walk over there and break that for real.
not that, but I've seen him break that. I've seen him break some shit for no reason.
I mean, he is uncivilized in the world we live in. But compared to whatever you want to call it back in the day, yeah, he's pretty civilized.
No.
But again, the only thing that stops that
so you
is
just
rules.
said it again. If he's pretty civilized back in the day, that means that they were less civil than us.
Yeah.
But I'm also literally saying the only thing that stops us from being less civilized is rules and regulations. That's it.
But like we still had rules and regulations like
But I feel like that's what people came to the conclusion of is like if we give rules and regulations. You're talking about fun.
Huh?
Did you say you're talking about fun?
No, farther than that. He said like 30 years. I'm talking about farther than that. Because like, yeah, no, Maya is not civilized from like a 30-year difference. No, he's the same exact like civilization level.
I'm going to try to give it another example. So by law, you don't have to have friends, right? You enjoy friends, correct?
Right.
You enjoy being able to talk with people.
Right.
So
Kind of.
it's civil to befriend them and not do harmful things to them, correct?
I mean, why would I do, like, I just don't get why, like, the harmful thing, there has to be a reason to do harmful things. If you're just randomly wanting to harm people for no reason, then that's a problem in your head. That's not dealing with that whether you're civilized or not. You have a chemical imbalance that makes you want to hurt people. Right?
That is a point. He's making argument. A point.
Like,
yeah.
that's like using the mind state of a serial killer. Like, yeah, they're going to run around killing people. That's what they do.
I'm not saying kill people, and I'm not saying actually physically hurt them, but I'm just saying doing things that are not feral, saying mean things about them, lying, taking their things, or just anything like that. Doing things because you're able to do it doesn't mean you actually want to do it.
Right, but I don't think that like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, people were doing it just because they could. There were reasons why they were doing these things. They had a thought process. They weren't just like, we're going to take your land. They probably obviously needed land.
Look, all I'm saying is you don't have to have laws to be civilized.
And they came over to America and was like,
I want more of that.
yeah, we're going to take this.
All right. But I am going to end this conversation as we've gone for 2.5 hours now, which is the new official longest podcast. And that's our average hipsters for this week, boys. We've veered very far from the original topic.
It's a talk show.
We are still as civilized as we were fucking 100 years ago. Goodbye.
David's like, you know what? I will have the last word about this civilization shit. Peace. All right. Be safe, guys.